Hello and welcome back to Analog Comics. This video will be a comic haul, basically part of my Almost Enough comics series. It wasn't supposed to be that. I was meant to do a video about my visit to Copenhagen and a particular comic book store there. There's a really nice store called Faraos Cigarer there and it blew me away. I took some pictures, I even took those moving pictures within the store, and I was planning to do a video about that visit, and that video would have required me to overdub the video I took in the video store, and I found that my laptop is too old for that. The laptop actually works just fine. It does what it was meant to do when I bought it, but the world around that laptop has moved on and it doesn't have any ports or functions or enough this or that, and I need to think if I have to upgrade the laptop or keep buying so much gear around that laptop kind of to block in the holes of the sinking seat that I might end up buying so much extra stuff to keep it going that it's the same amount of money as the new laptop. That kind of situation. And it's kind of sad because that laptop is like me, the world around has gone forward. I'm still with the old software and so on. But okay, so that's the reason why I'm now have to downsize this video to just a comic haul. And if and when I get around those technical issues, I might do the comic book store tour anyway, because that store was absolutely amazing. Just to give you a little bit idea why I'm so excited about that store, I'll give you an example. This is the way Faraos Cigarer looks like. It's absolutely amazing. You lose hours in there, and I did. And here in Finland, in Helsinki where I live, there's only one good comic book store that sells only comics in Finnish language. That's all good, but if you want something else, then you have to go online. Or you can go to Finnish bookstores, and this is how they look like. I mean, they usually have just two shelves. The other one is full of duck comics, Barks, Rosa, and then like here in the bottom shelf, it's full of text filler. Text filler is something that is collected in Finland by many comics enthusiasts, and they have like million text fillers out there. You need many cabinets like these if you want all text fillers. It's insane amount. And then they have another cabinet, small one, which is more like Finnish independent comics, local comics. That's all fine too, but again, if you want something more than just this selection, then the Faraos Cigarer, it's like, unreal. It was unreal for me. And it's very easy to get carried away. And I did get carried away. And when I was walking through the shop, I just kept pulling stuff out from the shelves and piling the comics. And before I got to the counter, I realized this is way too much. There's no way I can get this through the airport without paying lots of extra for the kilos. Some things that I left there is like Jason Lutes Berlin. I really wanted that. They even had a soft cover version, like hardcover and a soft cover collection of it. But it was still really big, so I decided maybe some other day, because that took alone so much of my weight allocation. Then there was Sean Town's Arrival. That was just big, and I was afraid. It was a really nice book, but it was so big that I was afraid that it would get damaged during the flight. So I decided to leave that one out too. Then they had a nice hardcover collection of Loisel's Peter Pan. All the 6 albums collected into one big hardcover, and I really like Loisel's graphics, his style. And but it was also one of those big heavy books that I kind of took too much, because leaving that out meant that I could buy more smaller ones, and more is better, right? Okay, but let's jump into the comics that I actually brought home. So this is what I got. It's still kind of heavy, but I got it through the airport without extra payments. And all of these have been in this plastic bag since I got home. It's almost a month ago. So that's another thing why I had to do this now. I realized that because of those technical issues, I can't do the comic book store tour where I would show you these also, it means that I would have to delay that video so long that these would have to be in the backs for I don't know how long. That's not acceptable. I want to get, I just finished a few other comics and now I'm ready to get into these, and so I have to get this video out of the way in a way. You understand? I have 3 bags here because I went into that store 2 times. The first visit left me with most of it, like 2 bigger bags, and when I went back to hotel, I realized that I was in so much kind of shock and adrenaline that I forgot certain things there. So I went back and got some more. I did realize later that I forgot some other things too, like they had a really nice tint insert that I would like to buy, and other stuff, but I don't think I could have gotten more of comics home anyway, so I have to settle that. And that's a reason to visit the Copenhagen again. It's actually it is my favorite capital of the whole northern countries. It's as a place, it's magnificent, even without the comic stores. I really like it. But okay, let's go through the comics. I'll just pull them out here one by one. Oh, and before I start releasing these comics from their captivity, there's actually one comic that is not anymore in the plastic bag because I did read it. I started reading it while I was on a trip. I couldn't wait. I had to choose one, and it was Andy Watson's and Simon Gaines' Sunburn. At the beginning of this year, I read Andy Watson's The Book Tour, and it was so good that I had to get more of his stuff. And I've had the Sunburn on my shopping list even before I read The Book Tour, so now it was time to get that thing sorted out. Watson has this style when he's writing that you always, at least with The Book Tour and the Sunburn, from the very beginning you feel that there's something off. Things are not what they seem to be. And yeah, and Simon Gaines' art in Sunburn is amazing. Every page is a joy to look at. But yeah, I did read already that, and then I forced my friend to read it too. So now it's already been read and loaned forward. Because my friend also read the Book Tour and he liked it. So I said that you have to read this one too. So that's not in the bags. The first book to be released here from its captivity is Kate Beaton's Ducks. 2 years in the oil sands. This is a hardcover version. They didn't have other versions, just this hardcover. But I bought this because it doesn't matter which comic book channel I watch, they all say that this is good. That was the reason I bought it. And some have been comparing it to a little bit like Guy Delisle's like memoirs. I guess this is the same thing. Kate Beaton remembering her time at the oil fields in Canada. And I like the book as this one as an object. The dust cover feels like sandpaper. There is this unnecessary rough texture on it. Maybe it's unintentional or intentional. I don't know because I haven't read it yet. But I did look at the art. And I can see the kind of a comparison to Guy Delisle and if it's memoir and so on. But I'll know more when I'll actually read it, and I really hope it's as good as it's been told it is. Next one is something that I've had a long time on my shopping list. Tom Gould's Moon Cup. And it's a very minimalistic book. It's very thin, though hardcover. It's small. The graphics are very simplified, but there is, just by looking at these few panels here, there is certain like still sadness and loneliness in these. This has a feeling a bit like a Finnish movies from Kaurismäki. Not sure if anyone's familiar with them, but those movies came to my mind right away when I was kind of flicking through these pages and see what it looks like. This definitely didn't take too much of the weight allocation of my luggage. And the last one in this bag is The Shaolin Cowboy Shempuffet by Darrow and Stewart. I just bought this because it was there. And I realized that I haven't bought anything from Jeff Darrow since Hard Boiled. And I think I was a teenager or at least young adult back then. So it's years and years ago. The thing about Shaolin Cowboy is that I don't know anything about it. I knew this existed, but I didn't know what it's about. And they had few of these volumes, and there was no numbering on them. So I didn't know how this goes. So I just took the one that was first on the left. I thought that if they are maybe on the shelf chronologically. And I actually looked inside here. Not a lot of talking. It's like massacre, page after page. I don't know what to expect of this, but just the quick look inside, it looked like something I've never seen. So I decided, okay, I'll just take this one, and then later I go online and read more about Shaolin Cowboy, what it's about. And I don't know if it's necessary to read them in order or if all these adventures are kind of separate entities. But yeah, now I have my first Shaolin Cowboy. I just like the details of Jeff Darrow's art. You know, it's just one of those things. I just open a page, stop and stare at all the details. It's one of those things. Sometimes you get into that mood when that's okay. That's all you want to do. So that's my first dip in the Shaolin Cowboy world. So 2 more plastic bags to go. And I'll try to be quick about this anyway. Now here's something that I kind of knew I have to get one day. Jeff Lemire is one of those writers that I want to get into more. I have already quite many of his works, but I'm still, well, he's done so much, and a lot of his works are usually touted as a high quality products, well, comics. But this especially, many people are saying that Essex County is the thing. And a lot of times when there are best of something, your favorite something list, top list, it's often that Essex County comes up with some kind of excuse at least. And this was a collected edition, has everything inside. It's kind of a smallish. I've seen much bigger formats like hardcover, big formats, but I looked inside and Jeff Lemire's own art, I think, at least for me, it's the type of art that doesn't require it to be big. And this was also something that would fit into my luggage better. That was my reasoning for choosing this particular edition of Essex County. Also from this, when I look inside, it has certain sadness in it, like nostalgia. And I don't really know what this is about. And Essex County is something that I've intentionally skipped all the videos, all the reviews, just because it was from the start presented to me as one of those essential comics for a comics book fan to read. Now I can read it without knowing anything. So it's blank page and I can come up with my own view of it first. And then it's fun afterwards to go see all those reviews and videos that I've skipped and hear how other people saw it. If we had any kind of same type of experience or it was something completely different. Will it work for me? I hope so. Time will tell. The next one is Rain Like Hammers by Brandon Graham. This was placed on the shelf like this so I could see the cover, and I immediately recognized the art style because I just had read Multiple Warheads, and that was a weird book. It was fantastically, in a fantastic way, weird book. There was 2 stories that didn't really go anywhere in the end, but every page, every panel was a weird world. Like it's not like they were gags. They were more like just strange, and it felt like the artist was making fun of its own book, but also of the reader, of the genre and everything. Just, yeah, that very hard to explain kind of weirdness. So I just looked inside and it verified, okay, yeah, this is the same type of art. It's Brandon Graham, got to have it. And I don't know what this comic is about. I didn't even look the back cover. I haven't read anything. I just saw the graphics, look inside, yep, it's him, took it. But I have to be honest, I don't even know that much about his other work, history and so on. But that's usually what happens. You buy some comic you don't know, like that Multiple Warheads. Then you maybe test another one. Well, this one's good also. And that gets you triggered to go deeper and deeper. Look more about the artist, what he's done. And that's how you get sucked up into that kind of the person behind the stories also. I'm hoping that this would become one of those rabbit holes that I want to go look deeper into. The last comic book that I released from this second plastic bag is Mouse Guard, Fall 1152 by David Peterson. Now, this one I only bought, well, mainly only bought because of For the Love of Comics. Great comic book channel. Anshuman talks about this a lot. He's passionate about everything, but then there is this certain higher level of passion you can hear about certain stories or comic books, and this is one of them. I think the only thing I've heard him fussing more about is Bone and Uzaki Yojimbo. But anyway, I've seen him talking about the Mouse Guard, how good it is. It's something that I've been skipping. I've seen it here and there, but I thought that this was something for children, but it turns out that it's not. And they had one volume of this in the store, so when I saw it, I knew I have to take it. And I'm hoping to get hooked to this also. It's just nice to have those beginnings, many new beginnings, that you know that there are many roads to take when you order more comics. So you can kind of choose, when you are getting more comics, you can always kind of decide on the mood you are in. Like, now I would like to have more of that, and now more of that. Maybe I don't go that way this time. This definitely, if this is good, this is a very new type of direction for me also. This third and final plastic bag is basically the content of my second day trip there. It's a lighter one. It's just something that I kind of forgot to take with me on the first visit. And first of them is Siberia 56. And this one I forgot because that store had another level which was full of second-hand books and also books that have been damaged. So this was a new book, but it was damaged. There's a little dent here, and they took it off their main shelves and moved it to the second-hand section. And I went through that section, of course, hungrily, seeing that maybe there's something for me, and I decided to go with this Siberia. This is very, I think, European sci-fi-ish thing. Well, this is sci-fi. It looks like a mashup of many sci-fi cliches, like dunes, worms, and then there's an ice planet and so on. But the art is the reason why I want this. I'm a sucker for this kind of art. I'm easy prey. When I see this type of art, I'm sold. It's like, take my money. I even know when buying this that it might be a very mediocre, what's the word? Mediocre. Quite mediocre sci-fi story. I don't like that in movies, but I'm okay with it more in comics. I just accept that more if the visuals are on this level. Now, I'm kind of saying that before reading this. This might be a great one, I don't know. There are a lot of these type of sci-fi comic books in Europe. Beautiful art, but the story is kind of okay. And I'm hoping this is one of them. So, but yeah, I got this cheap. It was on the second-hand bin anyway, so yeah, I think it'll be worth the money. The last one is maybe the best one, at least at this moment when I haven't read this. Konvojen. Now, this is the Danish version of Wake, which is the English version of Silage. And yeah, they had these soft cover albums of Silage or Konvojen in Danish. And I looked inside. This is superb art, like superb. I looked inside and I was surprised that I understand the language, Danish, quite well. I understand Swedish when I read it quite fluently, some of the German too, and of course English much better. But reading in Danish, it's like sometimes like a mixture of all of them. And because there's a picture kind of telling you what they are talking about, it was surprisingly easy. So I decided to go wild with this, because the Finnish Silage was Silage. No idea how it's pronounced. I'm probably pronounce it the best, better than anyone else. But the Finnish series, they discontinued after the volume 10. I have a video about Silage. I think it was my second video in my channel. And I'm not sure of the quality of the content on that video, but the comic is so good that if you don't know about this series, you should watch the video just to know what the Silage is about. In English, it's called Wake. I think that was the name on the video. From Denmark, I bought 11, 12, 13, 14. And I have the German versions 19 and 20. The thing is here that all these are separate adventures, but also there is a bigger story arc going and in the background all the time. So it carries the world, it builds the world at the same time, but you're getting these single adventures. See the video if you're interested. But I am so happy about these. This is one of my all-time favorites. Everything about this series is good. It's really good. So those were all the comics I brought back from Denmark and Faraos Cigarer. And now I have a good backlog to go through, so I'll survive with those for a while. That's it. That's all for this time. And I'm glad I got to make it, because now I get to read the comics. And there's nothing really more to add, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.